The facts matter.
This striking image grabbed the attention of Americans. It left millions speechless and enraged. A rioter parading around the Capitol building with a Confederate flag in hand. The photo of the man went viral around the world, and he's from right here in Delaware. Tonight, he's in custody. Thursday night, the big story on Action News is the arrest of this rioter and his son, who were both involved in the Capitol Hill chaos.
The two appeared in a Delaware courtroom this afternoon. And Action News reporter Katie Capture was live in Wilmington tonight with more on the hearing that ended just moments ago. Katie.
Yeah, Rick and Troy, we're here outside of the federal courthouse in Wilmington. This is where that father and son turned themselves in this morning. They had hearings here later this afternoon. And then minutes ago, we filmed them as they walked out of their hearings. They were both trying to cover their faces as they walked out of court. They didn't answer any of our questions as to why they were at the Capitol when they did not have access inside the building. And then at one point, they even pushed our cameras as they crossed the street. Now, I want to show you this picture. You've probably seen it many times before. This man carrying the Confederate flag inside the Capitol building on January 6th has been identified by authorities as Kevin Seefried from Delaware. Kevin told authorities he brought the Confederate flag from his home in Delaware, where it's usually displayed outside. His son was also at the Capitol that day. We have video of him smashing this window. This is from video that's posted to Twitter. It shows his son Hunter punching a glass window in the Capitol complex before both father and son entered through. Once they were inside, they were part of a larger group of people verbally confronting several U.S. Capitol officers for about 15 minutes. Authorities say Hunter took a selfie inside, and at no time did either father or son have authorization into the U.S. Capitol building. So after all those events occurred, court documents reveal that Hunter was bragging to a coworker about how he stormed the Capitol with his father, and that coworker then told authorities. So back out here live, both father and son have a hearing in D.C. scheduled for January 25th. And then after multiple proceedings, both could be indicted on multiple federal crimes, and they could serve years in prison. I'm reporting.
See in this country the military personnel surrounding the Capitol now, Brooke.
No, it's so striking. You know, Shimon, we've all been out covering inaugurations for many, many presidents past, and just the difference. You know, here we are. This is America. Shimon, thank you, on the mall there in front of the Capitol. Now, these security preps come as federal investigators have issued a sober warning. Extremists, just like those behind last week's insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, are now likely more emboldened to carry out further attacks. CNN's Jessica Schneider is in Washington. And Jessica, why? Why do these investigators think these people feel more emboldened?
Yeah, Brooke, this is all based on what investigators are seeing as they're scouring social media and taking in tips. They're seeing this chatter that indicates these extremists believe that they were successful when they stormed and attacked the Capitol last week, and now they're emboldened to take further action. So this is how a law enforcement bulletin that we've obtained reads in part. It says, with the perception among some extremists that the breach of the U.S. Capitol building was a significant advance towards achieving their ideological goals, they may be inspired to carry out more violence. And the bulletin overall, it projects that possible targets here could not only be government officials, government buildings, but maybe even racial and religious minorities. And Brooke, this bulletin says that conspiracy theories are driving this possible extremist violence, the same conspiracy theories that we're often hearing from the president. So law enforcement, they are working to tackle these threats from every angle. Local agencies are sending help here to Washington. We know that FBI Director Chris Wray held a call yesterday alerting officials across the country about the threats in all 50 state capitals. So this is far and wide, and law enforcement is just trying to wrap its head around all the threats that are out there. Brooke?
And wrapping their heads around all the arrests that are now coming in from last week. I know authorities arrested one of the guys seen on a video hitting a Capitol Hill police officer with a fire extinguisher. Who is he?
Right. We're seeing multiple people charged every day. So, Brooke, the latest you just mentioned is a retired Chester, Pennsylvania firefighter. He is accused of striking
a firefighter.
Right, exactly, a firefighter accused of striking multiple officers with a fire extinguisher. You can see the video here. In this criminal complaint, it identifies the man in the video outside the Capitol as Robert Sanford. He's in that video wearing a dark plaid shirt and backpack, and then he appears to pick up what appears to be a fire extinguisher, throws it at that group of officers. It hits one officer in the back of their helmet, then ricochets and hits another officer without a helmet before striking a third officer. You can see that video right there. So that's one set of charges against someone who, swore to uphold the laws of this country. And more charges just announced against a father and son in Delaware who entered the Capitol. The father, Kevin Seefried, he was pictured inside the Capitol holding that Confederate flag in Brooke. We know that now he and his son have been arrested. In fact, the person in that picture right there, he admitted to the FBI that he brought his Confederate flag from his Delaware home where he usually displays it. So these arrests are coming quickly, and there are a lot of them, and there are a lot to come, Brooke. A lot happening with law enforcement.
Un-American. Jess, thank you. Jessica Schneider in Washington. Joining me now to discuss all of this, Anthony Ferrante. He's a CNN law enforcement analyst and a former FBI special agent. So, Anthony, thank you so much for jumping on with me. And I just want to begin with the notion that some of these folks are feeling more emboldened because of how, quote unquote, successful they were last week in the insurrection at the Capitol. And then officials are worried now they're going to come back and really be ready. What do you make of a chilling warning like that?
Yeah, it's certainly concerning, Brooke. I mean, I just want to say that Shimon was just reporting on the west side of the Capitol. I'm on the east side of the Capitol in a traditional residential neighborhood here in the United States of America. And outside my front door, I have 12 members of the National Guard standing a post with automatic weapons.
I mean, did you ever in a million years think you would ever be saying that?
Never in a million years. Yeah, it's unbelievable to me. I mean, I've traveled all over the globe, and this security around the U.S. Capitol right now. And that's one thing I really want to drive the point home to your viewers is this isn't security around the Capitol itself. This is security around Washington, D.C. It is 100% in residential neighborhoods and affecting our way of life. That noise you may be hearing are the barricades that they're putting up on my street right now. So it's very surreal. And the fact that what happened last week is now emboldening these actors is extremely concerning. I can tell you for certainty that the FBI is 100% all hands on deck. Why do I know that? Is because throughout the last few days, contacts around the country have called me with concerning information, and I have connected them with FBI agents at their local field office. And when I speak with the FBI agents, they say it's unbelievable. We are working 24/7, running down thousands of leads.
Good on you for connecting them because, we're talking security, yes, not just around Washington, but, across the country. And just to remind our viewers, some of these U.S. capitals allow open carry, right? So the danger is exponentially greater when you know, as a law enforcement officer, right, trying to keep people safe, you know that people could be there and armed. How does law enforcement prepare for that?
Yeah, it's super difficult, and that's why we all need to come together. I mean, listen, we've all lived the last few years. We've all seen what's transpired live in the United States, okay? This is an attack on our democracy. We need to come together as communities, look down the street, left, right, look at your neighbors, report anything that's concerning. Please don't sit home and only rely on the FBI. Everybody plays an active role, and we can all come together and help. And that is what is super important we need to do right now. Inauguration of the President of the United States is supposed to be a celebration. And right now, the United States is hunkering down for war. If you walk outside my door right now, you would think you were in a green zone of a war, of a country that we're better than this. And we need to come together and